Okay. All right. And we are live. Hey guys, this is Bruce, ConvoCourses podcast. And today I want to talk to you about an article that I just read to kind of talk about the state of governance, risk, and compliance. And just to kind of give you some context, I've been working in cybersecurity since 2000, in and out of compliance type work, also known as governance, risk, and compliance. It's kind of a softer form of cybersecurity or information security, if I was just describe it quickly to you. And something kind of came up that I thought was interesting, and it kind of started off from this video that I was watching. I started watching this video from a guy who was talking about compliance getting replaced.
They hear from Chris Hughes saying that GRC is ripe for revolution. I haven't gotten through this whole post, but I wholeheartedly agree. And basically, the TLDR is so much of compliance and regulatory stuff, GRC stuff. Now that everything has an API, why are we not automating all this stuff? Like, so much of it should be automated, and even with AI, can automate even more of it, even the human stuff with a human touch. Where
so this right here, I start watching it, and I immediately got pissed off. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Because the first thing I thought about is, how are you going to use AI to replace all of GRC if AI doesn't have compliance? AI itself doesn't have compliance. But then I went through and I was like, this is an interesting concept. So I was wondering, like, what is he talking about? So I start digging to find this dude named Chris Hayes, and found the article. And here's the article right here. So the article is talking about, is where he's saying GRC is ripe for revolution. And I read through this whole article, and rather than being pissed off about it, I started to agree with him. I'm like, okay, this dude really has a point. And in a nutshell, what he's saying here is that GRC hasn't had a huge update for a long time. Like other technologies like networking or computerization, processing, storage, all these different aspects of IT and cybersecurity have had these huge changes in the last few years. But GRC compliance stuff has not really changed. And really, that's been, for me, that's been kind of awesome, because I don't have to, it just, I can just do what I do. Whereas other aspects of cyber and IT change very rapidly. So you're having to constantly learn. And me being a geek, I actually learned some of the new stuff that's coming down. I actually mess around with it and stuff. So I find it entertaining to do it. So I do it for fun, but a lot of the jobs that I do, I don't really have to. The only exception has been cloud. But other than that, like all the other virtualization and all that kind of stuff, when it first came out, I didn't have to do that. Cloud has been an exception. So his point here he's making is some of the main points, and I'm going to cover them deeper so we can kind of go through and talk about these. And I'll open this up to questions, and I'll be watching you guys. I want to get you guys' comments on this to make it a conversation. So he starts off by saying, there's all these different compliance and standards and stuff, and for the most part, they haven't really changed in the better part of 20 years. They're the same. Meanwhile, technology is changing extremely rapidly, and the GRC processes are not keeping up. And he's saying that, how can we do, for example, one of the best examples he had in here is one of the things you do as an assessor is you take a snapshot. You look at how you take a snapshot of the system, of the network or the baseline, how the system looks, how the systems are configured. And you say, okay, this is good based off that snapshot. That snapshot is just a moment in time, meaning as soon as the assessors leave, it could be a disaster. It could be complete chaos, and it doesn't accurately reflect the real-time, continuous look of the system. Like system could look different. It could have like, it could have different changes throughout the course of a week or a day or a month or a year or whatever. And a better way to do it would be to have something that continuously looks at the security compliance of the system, rather than having a snapshot and okay, it's good today, and then coming back a year later and saying, okay, is it still good? So that was a great point. I was like, okay, that does make, I get you. That does make sense. So here's the part where he's talking about snapshot and time assessments. I thought that was a great point. And he uses kids as an analogy. He says, look, I've got 5 kids, and if I go in to clean their room, I want to see if their room is clean, and they clean it for a minute, and then I say, okay, that's good. I walk out, and then they destroy it, And IT, similarly, you could have assessors come in, take a snapshot of the network, say, okay, it's good, and then afterwards they rearrange everything back to where it was. Do this other practice, or something happens where it, negates everything that they saw a day earlier. So a better approach would be to have real continuous monitoring, is what he calls it, where the system, you're looking at it in real time. And with the systems we have now and with AI, you could do something like this. You could have it to where it's constantly watching the network at all times. So I thought that was a great point. He talks about integrating machine learning into questionnaires, making that more effective. Another one is he talks about how, this is another good point, where he talks about there's all these frameworks, and some of the frameworks are not reciprocating each other. In other words, you can have PCI DSS, and it doesn't necessarily in one country, and then it's not picked up by, if you go to EU, it's not, certain things are not reciprocated. They don't match 100%. And that makes for some interesting gaps. So there was some good points in this article that made a lot of sense about GRC platforms being legacy. Another good point was that some of the main things we use is Archer, CSAM, EMAS, and others, that all they do is they collect information, they collect artifacts, they could collect documentation, and it's just a slow way to do all this stuff. Whereas if you had a way that used AI, machine learning, it could have a real-time approach to looking at actual controls, looking at how the system looks, and from 1 hour to the next, having automated questionnaires. In effect, he's not saying in this article we don't need compliance. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that we should do it better. That we should do it better, and we should integrate AI. When I first saw it, I was thinking, I was thinking that they were just going to attack compliance, like some of the more technical cybersecurity people do. That they'll say, "Is this useless? We shouldn't do it at all." And that's just ridiculous when they say that. So that's not what he's saying. This guy is a compliance guy, and he's saying we should just do it better. We should just have a better, faster way of doing it, and AI is one way to do it. One of my arguments immediately looking at this is, well, AI itself doesn't have compliance. AI itself doesn't have something we all agree on. So, and I see you guys in the chat. Hey, Professor Black Ops and Larry, how you guys doing? I'm just looking at this article, and I just wanted to, it came up, and I just thought to myself, this is something I should really talk about, because this is something I can really, that I'm experiencing right now in real time. And I'm looking over here on TikTok. Somebody says, next evolution of GRC is automation, leveraging AI, ML across all control data points. And I can't argue with that. I got to say that that's the direction we seem to be going. It's probably a better way to do all of this stuff. It says, I'm deciding between cybersecurity and software development. Why not do both? Why not do both? Okay, so I broke this down into some slides so we can kind of go through some of the points that he talks about in this thing as a discussion point. Like I said, he has some great points, and I'm going to go through some of them, and feel free to kind of just interject. And if you have some disagreements about it, I totally understand. This is an opportunity for us to shape the conversation here. because people are going to see this. So GRC is ripe for evolution. Like I said, when I first saw it, I was pissed off. I'm like, what is he talking about? But he has some great points. And some of the things is compliance paradox. It's critical for security, and compliance is one of the largest drivers of security, is what he talks about. So that's why I was like, okay, he's not going to shit on GRC like some of the more technical guys do. He's saying how GRC is stuck in the past. Compliance is antiquated. It hasn't changed in a long time, which is, for me, has been one of the positive things as a worker. I can just not have to go as fast as some of the other changes you see to like things like cloud or things like networking that are changing constantly. But the negative part of that is it's not keeping up with the times effectively. Let me see. Another thing is documentation being static. You create a document and it's just static. It just stays in one spot, and then it's not updated sometimes until annually. Annually, it's changed. It's not keeping up with modern infrastructure that changes very, very rapidly. Things like containers, Kubernetes, cloud environments are changed programmatically. Like you can do what's called infrastructure as code. So code can literally change just like that. Can change the whole infrastructure. Code can change the whole infrastructure like that if it's all based off of infrastructure as code. I mean, am I right? And my thing is, like, in the organizations I've been in, the past 5 or 6 organizations, I've actually advocated to use the tools we have. They're not even in this article, he names Archer, EMAS, and some other tools that are antiquated. And me, in the environment, they don't even want to use those tools. They're trying to use spreadsheets. And I'm like, why are we doing why are we using spread? We should use this tool. Like, look at this tool right here. Here, all the data is right here. It's already doing some of this for it. So I would argue the organizations sometimes don't want to move forward. They want to still look at spreadsheets. They want us to use the tool to create a spreadsheet rather than all of us go to the tool, which would be way faster. So it's not us IT people and GRC people who are forcing this to happen. It's the organization themselves that want to stay in the past. So there are some organizations I've noticed that have started to want to move forward because they realize that this is not working and we want to use the tools we have. So that's actually been a kind of a positive thing that's happened. And then Professor Black Ops says facts. I'm trying to use all the O365 built-in tools to move away from spreadsheets. Yeah, like things like there's a bunch of automated tools that you can use inside of O365, like lists and some other things. And I've been trying to use some of those myself to try to get away from spreadsheets. I mean, spreadsheets are great, but I'm just like, how can we be more effective? How can I go faster with this stuff? How can I split this data up quicker so I can get it out to people and share it immediately to people? And some of the tools we have in cloud alone, like never mind AI, can do this for us. So documentation challenges is static. We should make it machine readable and do more formats such as OSCL, which is a way to make it machine readable so you can automate it quicker. But a lot of organizations do not use OSCL or any kind of tools like that. I do know that they use SCAP quite a bit in some federal organizations, which is kind of like a automated method of going through vulnerabilities. But we should do more automated control-based assessments. He talks in the article. He talks about AI generated documentation. This one right here is a little pushback from me because some of the AI is still hallucinating. So I suppose if you got it to where it was based off of your own environment, it could work. Like if you had one, I know that in the organization I'm working with right now, they're leaning towards something like this to where it's an AI, and it's based off of our documents and it's something we use, so it's not externally shared. So the organization I'm working for and a few other organizations that I know of are starting to go in this direction where they're using AI and they're getting rid of some of the hallucinations and some of the issues with it, such as it being on the cloud. Like if you were to use just open AI, in the cloud, or Claude AI or something, your data is sensitive. It's being shared out there. But so if you have an internally based LLM, that fixes that problem. And then Professor Black Ops says SharePoint list, Power Automate. That's the one I was trying to think of. Loops, approval, SharePoint. Yeah, we use a lot of SharePoint. And the last few organizations that I've used, they've been using SharePoint more and more. And then it's been getting more and more advanced. But Power Automate, that's one I've been trying to use more in lists. I've been trying to use that one to improve my own workflow and then introduce my team to it. But I haven't been successful in that. I'm still learning it. Let me see how many other questions I have. Yeah, I've got some questions here. I see you guys' questions about working in the job. Let me just get through this article real quick, and then I'll open it up to everybody. So if you're coming in late, this article that came through is from a guy named Chris Hughes, who is a 20+ year cybersecurity guy, and he had this great article about GRC is ripe for revolution. And I think he's right. Like just reading the article, it's actually on point. And if you are interested in the article, link is in description below if you want to skim through it. But I broke it up into slides so we can kind of go through the main points. And this guy has a YouTube channel called Resilient Cyber. Pretty sharp dude. It seems like he's a compliance DevOps kind of guy. But let's keep going through these. So he has some great points here. I'm going to try to stick with those as much as possible. Security, control, inheritance. He talks about this portion of it: customer controls, shared controls, and he talked a little bit about how the shared model from cloud, where the cloud shares shared responsibility model from cloud, where the cloud CSP is a cloud service provider, and they have control over, say, physical security because they're protecting the infrastructure that facilitates the processing or storage or whatever you're using cloud for. And then you, as the user of their cloud, you're responsible for your data. Like you have to secure your data. Like if it's encryption, you have to make sure that proper people that you're controlling the who has access to what, of your data. So there's a shared model, and he talks a little bit about that and how some of the stuff from cloud is trickling into GRC. So that's good, but there's a lot that we should be doing. Okay, look, I'm going backwards. He talks about the problem with reciprocity, meaning if you're on one framework and your organization's on one framework, and then let's say you had business in another country, and this other country doesn't reciprocate the controls, that they don't care about the controls you have. So this site that you have for your organization, they have to abide by, say, GDPR, but not necessarily PCI DSS, for example. And so that site might have some of the controls, but they don't necessarily have to do PCI DSS. In effect, it would be better if we had one like universal framework or some model that covered everything, had all the best security practices. It was able to go across all different frameworks and standards, because right now you have so many different frameworks and standards that you have some gaps in between. When you go from one to another, you have some gaps from country to country. They have their own regulations, and then from industry to industry, they have their own standards where they don't necessarily match up. So you have some issues and some gaps in there. That's what he talked about. So that's one of the issues with the legacy GRC, this whole process being a little bit legacy. Snapshot in time. This was a really, really good point where he talks about how if you do an assessment, even if it's 30 days, you're taking a snapshot in time for that right at that moment on that day, it was secure, right? But as soon as the assessors walk away, as soon as you turn your eyes and go somewhere else, it could be in theory, it could be no longer have the same security posture. So that snapshot in time is a tool we've been using, but if in real time, like with real threats are continuous and they're happening all the time. So if your system is no longer at that snapshot that you thought was acceptable and it drops throughout the course of a day or a month or a week or even within an hour, that's a time that those continuous threats can exploit those new weaknesses that have crept up in that hour or that week or whatever, right? If you had a security posture that's going up and down as far as weaknesses, like maybe somebody removes for whatever reason, something has a mishap and it removes a control, and that control was assessed as good, but that control was removed for like 3 hours, right? An AI and automation would be able to detect it immediately and do something about it or document it or something, right? So this is another antiquated thing that we have in GRC that definitely could be fixed by automation and AI. He used a clean room analogy, which I talked about earlier. Let me see. This one didn't have anything. That was a different article. Limitations. What else did he talk about that was really, really good in here? Questionaires and self attestations is a lengthy documentation process. It has duplicative effort. That's a fact. Definitely. Sometimes we're doing things 2 or 3 times. You supply evidence, and then they want other evidence, and then you're doing it twice or 3 times, and you have to upload it 3 or 4 places. It's really, not only is it slow, but it's like we're doing the same thing over and over again sometimes, which is ridiculous. Unreliable data, self-attestations often misrepresent actual security posture. So if you had a method where a machine was looking at another machine, this system's looking at this other system, it will be way more accurate in theory than a person giving their subjective opinion about security. My argument to this would be, how do we know that the machine that's this other machine is legit? Like, we have to make sure AI itself has compliance, has a certain level of assurance and confidence that we know the system that's looking at it, when it's going system to system, that they're doing what they're supposed to do, not going rogue. Like, we need something that we can trust, and I don't know the AI is there. Maybe if it was internally vetted or something like that. Okay, let me see. I got something going on with my TikTok. Okay, let me see. Any questions here on TikTok? And I will be taking you guys' questions. I see you guys chiming in. Just going through this article real quick. What other things did he say that were really good? He talks about self-attest. We kind of talked about that one. Another great point he brought up was that there's too many frameworks, and these frameworks, a lot of times, there's not enough. There's so much stuff going on that it's hard to keep track of them all. So if we really need to have some regulatory harmonization, and this is something that was brought up a couple years ago by the previous administration, that it is a problem, and we need to have some standard where we can, what kind of fix. They put the question out there, and then they also took, like, what things can we do to fix this, because this is a problem, we realize it. And so that was an issue that he brought up. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So those are the main things he brought up, like legacy GRC platforms. There's not enough to have an immediate, a more realistic, continuous monitoring platform. These things are dominating our current field. He mentioned by name Archer and EMAS and some other platforms that are just document repositories. They have limited automation capabilities. They do have some automation. I will push back on that. They do have methods of automation, but they are documentation repositories, and they don't have enough APIs. Cumbersome user interface for sure, especially with some of these systems. And a more modern platform, which they do have, but they're just not popular. You mentioned a couple, one called Vanta, which I've never even heard of, but apparently it has automated compliance checks, true continuous monitoring, streamlined vendor management, AI enhanced capabilities. And the organization I'm working for, they're trying to actually implement something more like this. So in a nutshell, like there are problems for sure. Like I can tell you realistically, like there are serious issues within the GRC space, and he brought up some really great points, really great points. And one of them that he brought up is that the fact that we as GRC people need to be more technical. Like we need to get on board with what's going on because it's moving too fast. And that's another thing that I've noticed is that as it's been moving, it's requiring more people in our space to be more technical. We're having to do a little bit of cybersecurity analyst work. We're having to do be smart on cloud. We're having to be more and more like it's getting away from just being a pure documentation person and having to touch each one, some of the security tools. So these are great points. It was a great article. It's a great read. Link is in description if you're interested in it. So I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions. Let me see. First one is from Sean. I see you, Sean Robinson. And let me pin your comment here. He says, "How long have you been making six figures?" Man, I've been making six figures since year 2000 and 2010. 2000 and yeah, about 2010. Doing GRC work on and off, like different aspects of GRC. I had my first one was teaching. The first one I was making six figures was I was teaching risk management framework. I was teaching something called DIACAP that doesn't exist. I mean, it's still there, but nobody uses it anymore. So that was my first six-figure job. And then from there, I went to, what was I doing after that? Oh, yeah, I went overseas working for the government, and I was doing, that was cybersecurity analyst work. I did that for about a couple years. Cybersecurity analyst work. That's like a SOC analyst, where I'm analyzing data and using a SIEM and all that kind of stuff. That was also a six-figure job. And then from there, I went back to my roots, which is GRC, and I started doing. They had me doing some SIEM stuff. I would fix a SIEM, but then I also would do like odd jobs with GRC stuff, where I was doing some documentation. And then I went straight back to information system security officer work. And I was also still fixing SIEMs, but I was also doing GRC work. So I've been doing that. It's been going on, sir, for since 2010. So yeah, GRC work definitely is higher than average pay work, but you do have to come in with some skills under your belt and be willing to learn and have a lot of patience. That's a big one. That is a big one. And Professor Black Ops says, Power BI dashboard is next for me. Okay. Yeah, I think we're using something similar. We're using something called Tableau and some other tools to visualize the data. If we're talking about the same thing, and those kind of tools help give a visualization to the decision makers. Like they can immediately see what kinds of vulnerabilities we have and which systems have the most vulnerabilities or whatever. So that's been really effective. Things like that are helpful. He brought up some other great points. Let me see if I can find some in this article And what I did was I took the article, I ran it through an AI, and it generated these slides for me. Pretty cool. GRC engineering, a new approach. So okay, he mentions a new approach to it as automation first, using APIs, connecting GRC platforms with development and security tools through robust APIs. And this is kind of the direction that the organization I'm working for is starting to do. They're going towards this direction where they're integrating all these different tools. They're not just throwing away the tools that they have that are old. They're making it so it's integrated, so that say a vulnerability is reported, it goes to this other system, it reports it in something like Power BI or in Tableau or something, shows it there, and then it goes to say a SIEM that shows it all together. It's they're compiling everything by using APIs and automation and stuff like that. Data driven decisions. I think I would argue that's already happening. In the last couple places I've been to, they've been going more in that direction, so that's good. Let me see, what other great points did he make in this article? From theater to reality. And this is something I'd never heard before, but I guess one of the arguments against compliance in GRC has been that security is just theater. It's not. It doesn't have a real value. And he's saying we should transform this into making security more effective, compliance that actually improves the security posture, using, and I think what he's saying is using these things: automation first, API integration, data-driven decisions. And in my experience, the data-driven decisions have been happening more and more across the board for GRC. Main takeaways: modernization of the documentation process, implement true continuous monitoring where it's real time, not near real time. It's happening right now. Something changes and it immediately documents it. It immediately notifies people. It makes a change that's visible right away. Leverage control inheritance, utilizing CSP compliance and framework reciprocity to reduce duplication. This is huge. What he's saying is, if you're on a platform from a cloud service provider, they already have security in place. So you shouldn't have to redo the security that they have already done. So if you had a way to match that, and I think that the organizations I've been working for have been doing this, because we don't like using FedRAMP. A lot of times you can get away from duplication. That was the whole point of it. So so I see what he's saying here, and that's a great point. And then adoption of modern GRC platforms, and that's another thing I'm seeing the organization I'm currently working for doing. Great points. I thought what he was going to say is that compliance is worthless and we should deregulate everything. And I have real problems with that argument. I have real problems with the deregulation. Let's not do any regulation argument is really stupid to me. It doesn't make sense, seeing as how compliance is based off of best practices across industries. That's what it is. That's what compliance is based on. So somebody said, can you think about NIST CSF 2.0? Let me see, read the rest of this thing. What do you think about NIST CSF 2.0, and if and when NIST will update crosswalk to map to the NIST 2.0? I think they already do have one. So if this is what you're talking about, let me see if I can find what you're talking about. So if you go to NIST CSF versus NIST 800, they have this pretty cool tool that allows you to, if I'm understanding your question, they have this tool built into the NIST site that allows you to go to map controls to the NIST 2.0. Let me see if I can find it. So I put in NIST CSF mapping. Let's say mapping, not versus. Mapping to NIST 800. Okay, let's see here if I can find it. This might be it right here. Yeah, I believe that they have a site already that will, if I'm understanding your question, that will allow you to do this. So I'm looking for it right now. Let's see, I found a couple that already map from like NIST 800 to CSF, but I'm looking. There's an actual site where you can choose what you map. Where the hell is it? Man, I know I'm gonna find it right after this live, man. Let me see. NIST.gov. Let's just go to the main site here. So, okay, so here's the main NIST CSF site, and it's a pretty good resource here. Excellent resource, actually. If you go to see mappings right here, and then it will allow you to directly download all informative references for the CSF 2.0. So you can do this yourself, but they have one. Where is it? Where it will map it for you. Like it'll map different NIST CSF categories to different frameworks. And that's what I'm looking for right now. Let me see if this is it. This is not it. That's the Excel spreadsheet for it. So that's not it. Nope. Let's see. Browse. Bear with me. I know I can find it here. Is this it? This might be it. This CSF filter. So this is pretty cool right here. This gives you this is the NIST CSF 2.0 reference tool that will have a breakdown of all the subcategories with examples of what each one is, how it works. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the way to go from one to another. And I know they have it. I want to say it was on it. Comparative information. Okay, let's see if it's this one. Yeah, here it is right here. This is what I was talking about. Okay, so let me go back one so you can follow along if you happen to be watching this. All right, so I went to the NIST.gov/cybersecurity framework informative references, right? If you just go to Google and type in NIST CSF, NIST.gov cybersecurity framework, you'll find the site. And then we want to go to comparison report. Comparison report. And then if you wanted to map from one to another, NIST CSF, you would go to this one right here, NIST CSF version 2.0. And then you could map it to, I believe you could map it to, okay. I think I see what you're saying here. Let's see if we can map it to, let's map it to one of these other, this one. Let's map it to this one right here. And then it's mapped right now to ISO 27001. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, but you could choose from here. We could choose NIST 853, the old CSF, special publication 837. It's a bit limited because I'm not seeing, well, here's the cloud matrix one. So let's go to this one right here. And then let's see what this comes up with. So I just selected the cybersecurity framework 2.0 to the ISO 27001 2022. And then let's see, crosswalk, concept crosswalk, set theory, supportive. And then you could just go ahead and generate this as an export. And then this is what it'll look like. I don't know if this will be helpful to you, but this is one of the little tools that they have out there. I know sometimes, like us as GRC people, that have us want to generate something like this, and you would have to in the past have to do all this by hand. But now there's so many applications out there that you can usually find some way to do this to at least start you off, and then allow you to come up with something faster. So yeah, so let's try another one here. You go to comparison, and takes a minute, and then we're going to go to 2.0, and then let's say we want to map it to CCM, and then let's say we wanted to look at, nope, there's no supportive one, so I guess it's a little limited on what types you can do. Set theory will map it to CIS controls, so there are some limitations here. Let's just go to concept crosswalk, and let's go here and generate, and it's going to look like this. And what is it showing us is that gov.oc, which is organizational context, is mapped to these parts of the CCM. So I hope that answers your question, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not answering your question. Yep. Thank you so much. It looks like they don't have 2.0 on there yet. Still cool though. For sure, can map the old NIST. It's a little. It seems like it's a little bit limited. It's a little bit limited right now with 2.0. It does have some mappings, but the NIST 1.0 has everything. It's extremely comprehensive because it's been out there for so long. But I mean, we're now on a new one. So okay, all right. So that was about it. That's pretty much all I want to cover today. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, I will definitely. This is your time to ask me. Who am I? My name is Bruce. I've been doing this GRC work stuff for over 20 years, and doing all aspects of cybersecurity. And my mission has been to get other people in on this, because it's helped my family. It's allowed me to travel all over the world. It's allowed me to, do things I want to do for myself and for my family. I'm not wealthy. I'm not rich, but I'm all right. I gotta say I'm doing all right. And I want other people to be able to say the same and do all right. And with this career field being as robust as it has been, I've been able to do all right with my life and help people around me. So that's been cool, and I want to do the same thing for you guys. And that's been my mission, to help other people to get in this field. If you want to get in this field, to do everything in my power to get you in this field. If you didn't know, I've starting a community on Circle. I'm going to try that for a bit, and I've got people all over the place. I got a ton of people who follow me on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on all platforms. And I'm trying to consolidate it to where we can just talk in one place and not just on weekends. If you're interested in that, follow me on ConvoCourses.com, ConvoCourses.net. You'll find me. You'll find the group slowly growing. That's how it starts. And you can talk and ask any question that you have, especially if you're trying to get into this space. And I think that's it for today. It's going to be a short one today, guys. But get back with me soon. Next week, I think what I want to do is an interview. if somebody's interested in doing an interview, coming on here, and you can just jump on, answer some questions real quick, and jump off if you want. Larry says, "Hey Bruce, any updates on the course and book? Also, can we look forward to an AWS based talk and interview with Professor Black Ops?" Um, yeah, I just finished speaking on the cloud stuff. I just went through the low level cloud certification, so that might be a great opportunity for me to ask Professor Black Ops some questions about the cloud career field and path, maybe some next steps on what to do and some differences, and then answer some questions. That might, yeah, I'll reach out to him and figure out what we can do with that. That would be a great one to do, actually, especially now that I went through that course. And then any updates on the course in the book? Yeah, so I'm still working on the course. I'm breaking everything down. The book is already out, but the book is really a companion to the course. So so the book is out, and it looks a little something like this, and it'll be a companion to the actual course. This is like a workbook, very similar to what you've already have on Amazon. But here it is right here, spiral bound, and I'm working on it. It's, like, to do it right, like I got to cut them up into smaller chunks to where it's digestible, and it helps to facilitate learning better. So that's why I have to go through each item on there. So it's going to talk about, the course is about, it's GRC roadmap, and we use the NIST CSF 2.0 to guide you through what GRC is. All the best security practices that are integrated into governance, risk management, and compliance, how it works. By the end of it, once you go through it, you'll have a very solid understanding of what an organization should be doing to be secure. So that is what the course is all about, and it's coming really soon. I'm gonna put it on as many platforms as possible. Thank you for that 20, Larry. I appreciate you. So as much as possible, it's going to be on as many platforms as I could put it on, not just my own, but I'm going to try to put it on like Udemy, because I think that some people, I can understand the pull towards a platform like Udemy. So what I think I'll do is I want to put it on like Udemy, and if you guys have any suggestions of where you think I should put it, then I will definitely consider that. But Udemy comes to mind because I use it all the time. I use Udemy a lot. So to do cloud is one of my main go-tos. So I'm just thinking to myself, I should probably put my own stuff on there because it's a great platform. It's affordable. I like the way that they how they break things up, how you can pause and rewind, and you can listen to it on your phone while you're in the gym or whatever, or driving. So I really like the platform. So I would like to put my own stuff on there. So I'll definitely put mine on there. The GRC roadmap will be there. It's going to be also in the group. I'm going to put it on Thinkific. I'm going to put it everywhere I can. And the whole purpose of it is to take, my argument is this. If you've been in any industry, then it's a great way. It could be a great introduction to get into this field. You can use the experience that you already have in an industry. Now, I'm not saying just because you worked in a hospital, you can instantly do GRC. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it could be used as more fuel for you to get into this very lucrative field of governance, risk management, and compliance. Because if you're been working in the hospital as a CNA, for example, or a nurse or something, you have used tools like Epic before. You have had an account on Epic and some of the other tools and software that they use in the hospital, which requires HIPAA. You already know HIPAA. So all of those things, like all of your exposure to that field, is going to help you to get into the GRC field. So why not use your experience in that particular field to fuel your transition into governance, risk management, and compliance. And what I'm doing is saying, okay, you already have this field under your belt, right? It doesn't have to be healthcare industry. It could be financial industry. It could be real. It could be hell, real estate. It could be any kind of industry that has to use some type of IT. More than likely has some, like, for example, you wouldn't think that the education sector has anything to do with GRC, but they do. They have something called FERPA, which is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. I'm reading it straight off the thing, the thing, because I don't have a lot of exposure to it. But when I think about my own background, I'm just thinking, like, what was one of my first jobs was in a public library. And guess what we used? FERPA. FERPA was in California. That was one of the things that we had to use to protect people's privacy. I just didn't know. I knew that we had to protect people's privacy because that was part of what we did. Was like, you weren't supposed to expose people's search history, for example. If they were searching for certain books or whatever, that's private information. That's part of FERPA. Like, you're protecting their private information, right? You wouldn't think that GRC would be a part of that, but it is. It's just something we don't think about. And I'm telling you, like, that's stuff that you could use for fuel to make the transition. Now, there's a lot of steps you have to do, especially if you're coming in from scratch. If you're coming in from, you have no idea about IT, you don't have no exposure, you have to learn IT fundamentals, and it's getting more and more that in that direction, to be honest with you. In GRC, you're having to learn more and more IT fundamentals. Like, it's not like it used to be where you could have a person who doesn't know anything at all. I mean, I do have, no, don't get me wrong. Like, I do have some coworkers who have who have had little or no IT background, but they struggle, to be honest with you. So what I'm saying is, like, you should have some background in IT to get in this field. And if you don't have one, you're going to have to build it, and that's going to take time. So there's no magic button here. Like, you're going to have to do the work. And that's not popular for me to say. Like, it'd be better for me to say, oh yeah, everybody can do GRC. There's no problem. All you got to do is sign up here and buy my book, but that's not true. That'd be a lie. So I'm trying to help you to be successful. And if you're serious, I'm looking for people who are serious. And so I'm telling you the truth. Like, this took me years to get in. It didn't take 20 years, but it took me, to get knowledgeable and get in this field. It took a couple years, but you could probably do it faster. You could do it faster. You do need some IT background. You do need some IT under your belt, but you can do it. Another thing you can do is to transition into this field is, if you have a job, especially you're already employed, think about it like this. That department, whatever organization you work for, they have an IT department. Whatever organization you work for has an IT department. So think to yourself, how can I make a lateral change into the IT department? And you might be thinking, well, Bruce, I want to do GRC. I don't want to do hardcore IT stuff. You have to learn basic IT stuff to be an effective cybersecurity person. That's my argument. Larry says communities like right here and Professor Black Ops are great places to start. Go back and watch old videos. There's literally a library of information free. Yeah, so I've got years and years of free stuff, of very comprehensive videos going back years and years and years. And I'm only recently, some of the videos that I did 3 years ago, only recently starting to get seen on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. Only now. I did it 3 years ago, and now it's starting to come up. I'm like, I did this 3 years ago. Sometimes people asking me questions about some stuff I did 3 years ago, and it's cool to help people like this. I mean, that's the whole reason I'm doing it. And then you got people like Professor Black Ops, and there's tons of communities out there. And I'm not trying to I'm not trying to shield you from those great organizations and those great places. There's ISSA in your city. Like if you are not familiar, there's an organization called ISSA. I know we have one in Denver, but whatever city that you happen to be in, they'll have one. They'll have one you can go to. Like here's ISSA in Denver, and it's an information system. It's information system security association. And so they have these meetups. There's a lot of networking you can do with them. They'll have job fairs. They'll have you can get CPEs if you already have a certification. They have one in the city near you. If you're in Virginia, they have one. If you're in Maryland, they have one. If you're in Texas, they have one. They have more than one. So this is another place you can go to. But there's other organizations too, and groups out there, like my man Will Reed. He actually is doing mentorships. Like you can sign up for his mentorship program. He's at bettereverydaycyber.com. You've got oh man, one of the biggest guys out there, Simply Cyber. He's got a whole program for people. You've got all kinds and so I would encourage you to just get in where you fit in. Like go to a place where you feel more comfortable, where you get the most knowledge, where you integrate more with it. Like get that knowledge from somebody who's doing it. And yeah, Tech Woke is another one. Chris over at Tech Woke. He's really good. Like that guy does great interviews, man. I'm so envious. Like his interviews are awesome. And I actually was on his show once. Great guy. And that's an example of a guy who got in with no little or no IT experience. Like he never worked help desk or anything like that. He just went straight in there. But he did have a master's degree in IT, so whatever that's worth. Let me see if I have any more questions here. Appreciate all you guys' questions and comments and stuff. I do have that book and courses coming out. I'm working on it right now. Stay tuned. I usually will give gigantic discounts and all kinds of goodies for people who stick with me. I've been talking for about an hour. If you guys want to continue the conversation, just go to ConvoCourses, ConvoCourses.com, and you'll see a place where you can join a group and ask any kind of questions you have. I'm available. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out to Larry. Thanks, Larry, for everything. Thanks for your contribution. And I know this is a short one, but hopefully I can do another one real soon here. And last question, let me see. How's the contractor job market looking in your opinion? It's kind of all over the place, Larry. It's been all over the place. Right now, just speaking from my own experience, the current organization I'm working, we just hired a couple new guys, but we also lost a couple people. I would say it's probably different from sector to sector. In the government sector, it's kind of all over the place. I would say it's probably in a bit of a decline right now, but because of all the uncertainty of what's going on with the U.S. government, just real talk, just from what I've seen, I don't really know. Like they're saying the job market numbers are good and everything, but I'm like, I'm not sure. All I can go by is my own experience. Like right now, as 2025, I can see that I'm getting less job opportunities sent to me, for one thing. So for whatever that's worth. I know that we definitely need people. It's like what I'm seeing here is that we definitely have a bigger need for cybersecurity professionals, but it's like they won't hire anybody. As a matter of fact, they're okay to let people go, which is really a strange place to be in. We definitely have an increase in need for more cybersecurity people, but the organization, it's kind of like there's a shrinkflation going on. It's like shrinkflation is where is where is where they're, what I mean to say is we need more people, but they just won't hire more people. They just won't hire more people. We definitely need more people to do the work. I would say we, in the organization I'm in, we probably need three more people to do this work, and we're falling behind, and it's evident. Like, we're getting in trouble for stuff. We're not there. They think we're not doing stuff effectively, but the organization will not hire more people. Shrinkflation is the practice of reducing the size or quality of the product while remaining its price. So, in our experience, like what's happened with us is our customer wants more work and better quality of more work, but the organization, the place I work for, is not. They're doing more with less. So it sucks. And it's what's happening is we have way more work, and the stress is getting crazier. But we definitely need people. And I don't know if this is happening across the board. I don't know if this is happening to other organizations or whatever, but I don't know. Like, that's exactly what's happening. We have an increase. They're asking for more, but they are not hiring more people. And in the meantime, they're expecting us to do more and more work for the same pay. And it's like, what are we doing here? I don't understand what, what's going on. There's a huge need, but it doesn't seem like they want to hire more people. So that's what's happening. And what is you guys' experience with this? And this will be the last question. Like, what have you guys been seeing? Maybe I'm in an isolated funnel of what's going on, but that's what I'm seeing. It's like the work hasn't gone down, but they're definitely not hiring more people. And it's getting real. It's really frustrating. It's been like this for a while, but it's just recently gotten much worse. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm not sure where this is going. The security expert says you're dead right. Not hiring as many contractors. That's what's happening where I'm at. And they're expecting the quality of work to remain the same. Yes, that's what's happening. Shrinkflation. The organization is promising that we're trying to give more and better quality, saying do more, but they're not hiring more people. And I've been receiving fewer opportunities. Yes, and I've definitely seen a slower amount of trickle from jobs where I used to get. It used to be to a point where I would get opportunities where it would be hard for me to stay. And now it's more like I'm afraid to leave because I don't know what this market is, all over the place. So I'm like, damn, okay, I need this job. I better stay here. But before, it was like, damn, this is a great offer. And I'd get one like once a month. I'd get this incredible opportunity, I should say. And I'd be looking at it like, damn, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should take this. But right now, the market is so uncertain and so like shaky. And then they're having these mass layoffs. Like VA got slashed in like half. We had, what was another one? Like the UPS got slashed. And it's like, what are we doing here? It's not AI, guys, because AI is not implemented like that right yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not implemented like that yet. So I don't I'm not sure where all this is going. Another great point. Remote work is disappearing. Man, that's true. That's another big one. Yeah, man. Great points. I agree. That's what's also happened. Just to recap, Larry asked, great question, Larry. He says, how is the contracting job market looking in your opinion? And my opinion is that it's gotten slower. And these guys chimed in. He says, they're not hiring as many contractors, so they're expecting us to do more quality, more work with the same or better quality. And there's a trickle, like a slower trickle of opportunities coming my way, I've noticed. And then remote work is disappearing. Facts. That's another big one. Is like it's harder to find remote work. And then the government jobs are starting to close down those opportunities now. You know, I know that's a mandate directly from the devil himself. Yeah, so that's laughing at my own damn jokes. So yeah, the government's starting slow down slow down that. Like they're shutting that down real fast. They did that in like a few weeks. So that remote jobs are drying up fast, and they were already hard to get. So man. And Larry says, I'm seeing a lot of the same people getting out, but the workload, people are getting let go, but the workload is actually increased. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. Exactly. They want to adopt more AI usage, but the path is to do that very unclear. That's another thing that's happening. Like they say, oh, we're gonna do AI, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, but I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like I'm like, and then every other week I'm like, hey, what's going on with this? Didn't you guys say you're gonna do this? And they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna implement it next week. And then the next week comes, I'm like, oh yeah, so we're gonna do it. Like then they pushed it back another month, and they're like, oh, we're just gonna pilot this other system. It's crazy, man. It's like how AI is not here yet. Like we can't implement it. It's not taking jobs. It's not AI that's taking the jobs. Okay, it's not. That's not it, because it's not fully implemented. It's not fully. I'm not seeing it implemented. Okay, it's not. It's kind of trickling in, like here and there. They're okay. You guys can you can use this tool, but don't do this and that. You know, it's not for GRC work. It's not hit to where it's taking jobs yet, right? That's not happening. It's for GRC in the government space. What's happening, GovTech? What's happening is there's all these mandates to remove remote work, to let people go, fire people at will, and it's not clear what they're doing or how they're doing it. There's no plan forward to take steps to fill the gap. And then it's in important jobs too, like FAA, like some of the FAA people are let go, and it's like Newark is suffering, and it's getting dangerous. Like there's some people they let go that's is dangerous. So but it's because there's no clear. They want to do all this stuff immediately, but there's no clear indication of how we're going to get from here to there. And it's because of that. I'm gonna have to sit. I'm gonna sit in place. I can't move because I don't know what is happening right now. My main bread and butter is the gov space, right? Like if there's no other job, I know I can get one of those. But right now, I'm like, damn, like am I have to leave the country again? What the hell's going on? Yes, remote work is disappearing fast. I'm back in person in a month or two. Yeah, in the organization I'm in, they've already brought everyone back. Like all of certain workers, without giving out too many details, certain workers are already back in the office already. Like it happened last month, as a matter of fact. And then they're creeping up on all of us. They're trying to get it so everybody's coming back, but that hasn't happened yet because they don't have a way to get around the contract that was already signed. So yeah, remote work, definitely far fewer remote jobs. Those are way hard to get now. I'm hoping to keep my current remote contract. Yeah. The devil. Yeah. Um, what do you think about young people who want to start businesses in this field? What opportunities do you think there will be within the next few years? I think that there's always opportunities in business. It just depends on, you've got to find a market and a demand for it. It takes a special mindset to do it. It's way harder to do business. I mean, this is coming from somebody who's been doing it a long time. I've got, I've had my own side gigs going for some time now, and it's much harder to go off on your own and do it. But you can do it. Like it's so many opportunities out there for you. One thing you could consider doing that I've kind of dipped my toe in myself is go to sam.gov and be a contractor. Try to be a contractor for the government. Like right now, it's kind of shaky, but I would say like once things settle down, this can't last forever, right? There's something's got to give. Either it's going to go 100% fascist, or we're going to go 100% the other direction. We don't know, but at some point things got to settle down. Like right now, it's kind of like all over the place. We don't know what's going to happen, but at some point, it'll settle down. So I would say that that's still, I I believe it's still an opportunity for you to go to sam.gov and start looking into having your LLC take some of these contracts that are out there. But there's local state contracts too that you could try, especially if you are a young person who's super go getter, but also uh, well versed in a certain aspects of IT. Like if you know how to set up networks or cloud or I don't know, firewalls or GRC or whatever it happens to be. If you're just really super smart at something, or make yourself super smart at something and articulate in it, you might be able to land a contract with a local, company. There's a lot of opportunities for young folks starting businesses. I always encourage my kids to do it. I always encourage my anybody who I meet who has that bug in them, that aggressiveness to do it. Like you should at least try it. Don't leave this earth without at least trying it. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. It's definitely hella hard. But if you even have an idea and you think it will work, go for it. You got to find a market first, right? It's not about quote unquote finding your passion, right? You can do that on the way. What you want to do is find a market that you can deliver to, like a hungry market. A market. The market means like a bunch of people who want something, and then you're going to provide it to them. Another thing you can do is gigs. So go to Fiverr. I know it sounds silly, but the thing is, I pay a lot of people on Fiverr. I pay a lot of people on Fiverr, so it's a legit. You can make a legit coin off Fiverr and Upwork and all those little gig things that you can. The gig economy is real. And then you go on to say, where would I look for local and state? Just wondering. It depends on the state. Let me see if I can show you something real quick. Let me see. Colorado. If you are in Colorado, let me see if I can find one. So I'm looking right now. So in Colorado, just to give you an example, I just typed in Colorado. Let me show you my screen. And this is something I've not done myself. Okay, so this is something I picked up from another YouTuber I watched. But sam.gov I definitely tried before and got close to a contract. But if you wanted to find a state, you'd type in your state, whatever it happens to be here, and then contracts and database or procurement opportunities, whatever, right? Just Google it. And then you'll have different opportunities in your state. And you just got to do the research. It'll be a government site, right? It'll be a local government site. Like State of Colorado or whatever has its own. And I'm not the right person to ask about this because I have not done a state contract or a local contract before. Or have I? Did I do one? Once I did one. I did something for ISSA once, which is local. But yeah, one time. But that was like because I knew somebody. But yeah, if you want to get some of these state ones, you could just search it locally. I use side gigs, yeah, Upwork, Fiverr. Those gigs are real, man. I paid people. Man, I must have paid out last year a few $1,000s. I mean, probably 10K, man. Probably 10K because there's just certain things I don't have time to do myself. There's a ton of stuff I don't have time to do myself. I don't have the skill set to do it. So I'll pay a person some real money to do these things, right? So it's real, man. Like uh if you're especially if you're a programmer, if you know things like Python, because not a lot of people know how to do that. If you know what's another one? Design, any kind of design. Because I just don't know how to do. Like I can put something together. I can go on Canva and put some bullshit together. But then when I'm looking at it, I'm like, this sucks. Like it took me 2 days to do this and it sucks. And then I'll give it to somebody on Fiverr who just has color theory in their mind. Like they just how they think and they do it in 5 minutes. They do it in a day and give it back to me. And it's 10 times better than anything I could have came up with on my own using all kinds of tools. So yeah, like you there's so many opportunities for a person. Go for it. Like don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Like go for it. You can do it. Start as young as possible and fail forward. And that's an important one. The first thing you do is not more than likely won't succeed, but you only fail if you quit. That means keep going. Like you do something, oh, this shit didn't work. Go to the next thing. Do this thing. Oh shit, this was a pyramid scheme. This sucks. Keep going to the next one. Like don't stop. The key is don't stop. Fail forward. Do this thing. Try it. Okay, it sucks. It didn't work. Whatever. Go to the next thing. Don't be afraid to fail. And don't be afraid to lose money, but also don't lose money that you can't afford to lose. Don't put money forward that you can't afford to lose. Sometimes it will take money and investment to start your business or to start something. More than time, it'll also take some money, but don't be afraid to lose money, but also don't invest money that you can't afford to lose because it might not work. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys, I think that's it. And Professor Black Ops, man, what do you think about next week? Maybe we could do something next week. What do you think? Maybe we could do. I got some cloud questions for you. Maybe we could talk about cloud and AI. What do you think on this same bat time, same bat channel? Are you busy? We can do it another week if you want. I got some questions. What are my questions? So I just passed the AWS CCP, so we could talk a little bit about that. And then I have some ideas of what my next journey is going to be. So I can ask you those questions. And then maybe we could talk a little bit about this market. We can extend this conversation about what's going on with this market. And then keep it down to like an hour. All right. I'll reach out to you, man. So I think that's about it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you're interested, I have a free community that you can join. We can chit chat and start to talk throughout the week, not just once a week, So all right, guys, I'm out of here.